Greetings and welcome to another exciting episode of Ghosts R N.E.A.R, where we discuss various aspects of the paranormal and paranormal research. With me are my co-host, Sandra Johnson.
Hello.
And my other co-host, Carl Johnson.
Hello there.
I am your host, Keith Johnson, and Sandra and I are, of course, the founders of New England Anomalies Research. And we have a special treat for you today. Sandra, would you like to introduce our topic?
Yes, I will. Earlier this month, in October of '06, we ventured down to Pennsylvania to the Penn State Conference, and we have some footage from a few of the workshops that took place there. Today we're going to take a look at our own Carl Johnson and Andrew Graham doing a workshop on string theory and its relation to the paranormal.
Right. Briefly define string theory.
String theory suggests that the smallest composition in nature is not particle, but within particles, all physical matter is essentially composed of strands or strings of pure energy. Some of them are open-ended, some of them are closed, and they can resonate or vibrate and affect the other strings around them, and this is essentially what operates the universe. And I'm trying to apply that to paranormal theory. In other words, trying to establish a unified field theory that can relate and tie in all paranormal phenomena, some such unrelated topics as ufology and ESP and hauntings.
Wow. That is something.
Well, it's all speculation, it's all suggestive, but it's
Yeah.
interesting speculation. It gives us a working field for such speculation.
Right. But anyway, we're going to show some footage from the workshop, which my brother Carl and Andrew Graham did. The audio quality might not be the best, and for that we apologize, but we're going to show you some footage from that now. If we can bring that up. By the way, you gave an excellent lecture.
Thank you very much. Let's hope they can hear some of it.
There was a book, and I don't have it with me, unfortunately. It's written by a gentleman by the name of Paul F. It's called Footsteps in the Attic, I believe.
Pictures in the window.
Not Faces in the Window. Footsteps in the
Faces in the
Attic.
window. Okay.
Footsteps in the Attic.
Yes, I'm catching titles.
Yeah, he's got these great titles. And he's very big into quantum theory and string theory, and he relates them to different hauntings. And he's a paranormal investigator as well, so he writes about his own case models and things like that. Footsteps in the Attic.
His name.
Paul F.
E-N-O. Paul F.
There's a story in this particular book, and I'll try to paraphrase it as briefly and uncomplicatedly as I can, about a young lady who, some years back, he got a frantic phone call, and I'll explain that in a second. This young lady was driving with her sister and her sister's boyfriend, I think, and they were driving through Maine, and they had never been in Maine before. They were going to a concert or something. And they drove by this house, and this young lady freaked out. Stop the car! Stop the car! And she got out of the car and she bolted for the house. She's like, I've been here. I know this house. I have been here. And she went up, and before her friends could stop her, she knocked on the door, and this woman that opened the door almost passed out when she opened the door. And she, the woman's husband came to the door, got his wife. Her friends grabbed her, pulled her back into the car, and this guy got his wife and kind of took her back in the house, shut the door, and that was it. So this girl's sister was thinking about it for a while. She contacted Paulino, and she explained the situation. So Paulino went and interviewed the lady that ran to the door there. She had been dreaming about the house. She had been dreaming that she was standing out in the yard looking out at the windows, that she was walking down the stairs and she gets startled by something and looking into the living room. She knew the way out of the house. And Paul went kind of like, this is interesting. So he interviewed her, and then he called the owner of the house, the lady, the couple that lived there, and he asked if he could interview them about this incident that he had heard of. And they invited him up, and they were very reluctant for a while. They invited him up, and he interviewed them. And they said this girl that came to the door had been haunting our house for ages. We see her out in the yard, looking up at the house. We see her coming down the stairs. Now, they haven't contacted this girl at all, but they had the exact same story. She comes down the stairs and stops and looks right at us in the living room, you know, as an apparition. She's been haunting this house.
But she's a living person.
But she's a living person. So, when you go to sleep, and you're dreaming, think about this, if you ever sleep again. When you go to sleep and you have one of these dreams that you can feel your surroundings, you can smell, you can taste, you can touch, you can hear. You might
Can
actually
that go
be
along
there.
with just like within seconds of like deja vu as well?
Yeah, absolutely.
Might tie in deja vu,
Yeah.
too.
Tie right into it.
Already seen.
Yep, you've already seen it.
I've had that happen so many times. I dream of buildings. I tend to dream of buildings and then and streets. And I know when I moved to New York State for a year and a half, I saw these vistas. I don't know why it was so much in New York State, but I'd go on the street and say, no, this isn't like deja vu. I know. I thought of this dream I had of being on the street. And like especially abandoned buildings, when I see them, it's like I'm on Hurley Mountain Road, Route 128, and I just had to back up and say, I dreamt of that building. I told my girlfriend, I dreamt of that building. I know I've seen it. It's a eerie feeling when that happens.
I think that we don't remember a lot of those dreams, that we're projecting and going wherever, and we don't remember them when we were
Sometimes not, sometimes yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Not all the time.
You know, and then sometimes, I mean, like Carl said, I've had times too where you drive by a certain area or a certain building, you know, I've been here, but you've never been there physically, that you know of, right? It's all familiar.
So to think of ghosts, apparitions appearing like departed, the souls of departed human beings appearing in a house, that's strange. To think of vampires coming in and like absorbing people's energy or drinking their blood, that's strange. But we're just starting to get slight grasp, especially people interested in the paranormal theory, that the universe, and even our sector of the universe called the world, is a lot stranger than we gave it credit for. It's beyond us to really comprehend it. I don't think we've gotten to a point in evolutionary progression. I personally don't think we will evolve anymore, but say we kept evolving to this, if not better than this higher species, this more intellectually aware species. Even we might even do that on a spiritual plane, I don't know. But we just don't have the brain power, to put it simply, to understand and comprehend it. We can get a little hint of what's out there. We have the string theory, but we just do not have the physical brain capability of understanding the real nature of our universe. Maybe some advanced beings on some other plane places do. We may never. But it's interesting to talk about in the meantime.
Yeah, it's really fun to think about sometimes. It's just, like I said, I'll go back to my disclaimer. I don't think of all this as gospel. I don't, some of it I'll admit, I don't, totally subscribe to. I have my own way of investigating and thinking about things. But when I find things like this, it just totally turns your world upside down. Oh my God, I never thought of it that way. It's really cool. It's, you can think about now, you can think about the traditional theory of a residual haunt, but then you can stop and think about like, whoa, is this a recording or am I seeing this live? Like, crazy. It's pretty twisted, and it's very heady. I mean, I'll admit, I studied this, I went online for a couple hours one night researching this stuff, and I came away from the computer with a fierce headache. Just because it's like, oh, my brain's full. I just can't take it. There's a lot to it. And, anybody that's interested in looking into it, you can always check out, do searches on string theory and read up on it a little bit. See if you can grasp it. I think I actually have let me just check and see. Just to give you a glimpse. Yeah. Here, you can check that out and pass it around if you'd like. This is a little research on basic string theory. If anybody's interested in taking a look at it and see if they can figure it out. And it's just fun. It's a fun way to think of it, a new way to think about things. I'm always looking for new ways, new outlooks on things. Quantum theory, one thing I do believe is that we do create our own reality. You ever notice people get stuck in certain patterns of life? You've got the we'll say the person that keeps finding themselves in an abusive relationship, and every time they start a new relationship, it turns into an abusive one. Why can't I just find a good person, a good significant other? Why, oh my God, why am I dealt this hand? Why is everything so bad? Why is my life so poor?
Why do my girlfriends always look alike?
By thinking these things, by creating that thought of negativity, you're infecting all the energy around you, and you're attracting all of these bad partners to you. These people that just, for lack of a better term, want to beat the crap out of you, because that's what you're looking for. That's what you're attracting. You're creating that reality.
I've gotten that. I say, she looks like me.
You're just like, what is it?
You just came along. You thought it was a live vortex. Didn't help to explain.
Maybe a more common way of thinking about it, maybe something we can all relate with. Anybody ever had such a bad day that you just sit there and go, oh my God, how can this get any worse? And then you get the car accident.
Yeah, some metaphysical force is rolling up his sleeves. You said your magic.
So theoretically, I could go back and change the past then. Because if I projected, if Lincoln could project to me, I could project there. And, just my appearance would scare John Booth and he'd drop his gun.
I've been into that great conundrum of time travel.
Yeah, that's the whole time travel.
Intentional time travel may be and probably is impossible. It seems almost like a safeguard to actually go back and forth in time. Look, some people claim to do it accidentally, find themselves at another time, and the people from that other time will look up and notice it, then they'll be shot back. But that's an interesting conundrum, because if you go back and you stop Adolf Hitler's parents from meeting, so that there's never any Adolf Hitler, you get back here, there's no need to go back in time because Adolf Hitler was never born. Star Trek: The Next Generation explained that by multiple time frames. They would come back and they'd have their cognizance of their own time and what happened. But conditions have been changed. That's convenience.
The other
They all speak English, a universal language.
The other thing you have to consider on that thought is multiple dimensions. If you go, say, back in time, who's to say you're in the dimension that Hitler was what he was?
Sliders.
Exactly. You travel through that time, but you're traveling across dimensional boundaries. So you might be in a different realm, a different universe. When you get there, and maybe you make, John Wilkes Booth drop his gun. But in our universe, he still shot Lincoln. Or is shooting him right now, however you want to think about it.
I'll give you a disturbing theory, and it's not my origin. The Big Bang.
Uh-oh.
How could there be a Big Bang? God was around and decided we should have a universe. He made the Big Bang. You always get to a point where you would approach singularity where there is no time. You can't explain the inception. Some people say it was a quantum fluctuation that started the universe. But that still is reliant on something, even its energy, being there. One theory is that these multiple dimensions, the universe is imprinted on a brain, on a membrane, if you will. These membranes are not static, they're in motion. Screens going around, and two dimensions collided. And there was annihilation and then regeneration, that was the Big Bang. The two universes struck and collided each other. Not two galaxies or two galaxy clusters, but two actual universes, two everythings collided on the membranes in which they're laid and annihilated each other, but the annihilation formed another universe. That's kind of a preposterous theory, and phenomenally disturbing one if you think about it. That disturbs you?
Actually, it's kind of cool.
I remember that.
I like that. You remember that. And actually,
Stuck in my mind.
Going back to the whole time-space thing, something that actually is not in my origin either, but interesting thought that actually my wife said to me one day when I was doing all my research, and I was like, I was explaining, kind of what it was all about. And she's like, wait a minute, so does that mean? And she just totally blew my mind. Everybody heard of the lost city of Atlantis? Mm-hmm. Nobody's been able to find it? Mm-hmm. It fell, it sank into the sea? What if it didn't happen yet? What if it's You know, I mean, even Galileo was searching for it, wasn't it? Or not Galileo, Plato.
Plato was. Plato wrote a description about it. Some people have alluded to this Mesopotamian island. Or some people even say it was Crete in the past.
Yeah.
You know?
But think about it. All accounts of the Los Angeles were a society of people totally technologically ahead of us. Way ahead of us. Like a space age city almost. You know, what if it's actually happening in the future? We're just kind of seeing the ripples to that. You know, just getting glimpses of it. We're searching for it, but it hasn't happened yet because we can't find it. You know, just think about it for a few minutes.
Shudder.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Can I be excused? My brain's full. So, yeah, it was just an interesting thing, sitting on the couch that night. She was like, so does that mean that Atlantis hasn't sank into the ocean yet? I was like, oh my God, you're a genius. That was great.
Obviously, our concept of time passage, lineal time, only applies to us. There are physical laws which we can't, as of yet, comprehend, but rendered obsolete. We need some concept of time to be able to function and survive. Once somebody ceases to exist as a living entity, it becomes a spirit. Time is not the same thing. And maybe they can't move on. Maybe it's not their decision. We get trapped in the ruts where we keep replaying patterns. Maybe spirits can't be extricated from their patterns. There are, of course, stories of psychically gifted people going in and reasoning with the spirit, telling them they need to move on. Maybe the spirit moves on, maybe it just ceases. Maybe they showed that circuit.
On the same note, maybe you're seeing somebody that's alive in another realm, in another dimension. They're dreaming. They're asleep somewhere, and they're all fuzzy bed.
And you may never meet that person, you may never know that was a phenomenon.
Except for that off chance that they pull up to your house one day.
Sometimes you get the payoff.
That's right. That would be the Holy Grail. Right there. That would be interesting.
I had a replaying dream. I haven't had it in many years, but it was very, very vivid. I can't emphasize how profound this was to me when I actually became involved with a girl, and she was the love of my life. This woman, and I know what she looked like. And towards the end of this scenario that plays, I don't know how I could have dreamed all the details in a single dream session one night, but towards the end of the dream, I started feeling. I tell her, I say, wouldn't this be strange if it was a dream? And suddenly my conscious mind starts invading, and I start realizing this is a dream. And I don't want to admit to it, because I know full recognition that this is a dream will wake me up. So, in the most detailed version of this dream that I can remember, which was several years ago, I held her and I whispered into her ear, this is a dream. And she said, I know. And I said, but it's been a wonderful dream. And then I wake up. Will I ever meet her? I doubt it very much. No. But it's been so vivid, so lucid, I have to think there's something more to it than just psychology. In psychology, they explain it, but if you'd experienced it where I did, it just seems it was real. Because I've experimented with my lucid dreams. I reach out and I've said, yes, I can feel it. It's different, but I can't put my hand through the wall. I know if I do, it'll wake me up. I've experienced pain in my dream. I bumped my shin. Yeah, it hurts, but it's not the same thing. And I even woke up from that with my shin aching. I know I've seen color. I know I've dreamt in black and white. I have that vivid recollection of some dreams. And I've seen just like sometimes red and grayish blues in dreams without the full spectrum of color. I remember some of my dreams very well. And I've been aware enough to experiment with them. And I know that's true when I've woken up.
I had a recurring dream. When I was younger, I had a recurring dream, but every time it would go just a little bit farther. And then at the end,
it played itself.
It was myself that I was dreaming about, and I was dead. But after that, I never had the dream anymore.
I'm dead and I'm dreaming.
Yeah.
Sounds like a tiny little book. Either I'm dead or I must be dreaming.
Oh, it was weird.
So even in our subconscious, the laws of time and physics are somewhat distorted. Because I've had dreams of things that came to pass. I've had dreams of political figures that have died. Like, Anwar Sadat, I dreamt to this day, and he died the next day. My friend Christian dreamt Vincent Price died. He died. First, Christian had a gift of like 20 of our celebrities, and they died the next day. We were able to kill off Catherine Hepburn for a few years. He would say, "Now, what if they're still alive?" They'd be gone the next day. That happened a lot. But yeah, there's something beyond what we perceive as time. Even in our subconscious, we seem to be able to affect it. And maybe it's because in our dreams, we're not inhibited by logical doubt so much. We feel we can travel back and forth in time, and maybe in our dreams we can, to some degree, on some level.
Another interesting reference I just thought of, quantum theory. There's a movie out. Keith actually has my copy right now. It's called What the Bleep Do We Know? All quantum mechanics. It's all about how we create our reality. You know, and how every morning, and this has been proven, every morning there are these theorists that have tested themselves and actually done this, and they're actually very successful now. They wake up and they create their day before it starts. The first thing they do in that moment between sleep and wake, they have trained themselves to exactly predict how their day is going to go. They're going to dictate how your day is going to go. Create your day. And you can manipulate
Yeah, but how do
the
you stop
energy field around
interruption?
you. What's that?
How do you stop interruption of that?
I mean,
From some of
Like just because there are enough variables where something's going to come in to inhibit what you plan for your day. How do you stop that?
if you, the idea is this, and I have done this a little bit with myself. You know, I have a martial arts background. I got very philosophical for a while, and a lot of it was if you totally commit yourself to an idea 100%, you believe it, you commit yourself to it, mind, body, and soul, you will create it. Regardless, if something gets in the way, one of my teachers actually explained it as, it's almost like you look at the world with rose-colored glasses, but that's because nothing's going wrong in your life. You totally believe that. You know, if you're in your car and somebody cuts you off and you get mad, and everybody cuts me off, and then you get cut off 3 more times, and then somebody tries to hit you, right? Or if you're in your car and you're just like, I'm just minding my own business, nobody's going to bother me, and you totally believe that, and you totally commit yourself to that idea, you'll never notice. It's, well, here's the thing now. It's, and your favorite word, a conundrum, where either A, you just never notice it, or B, it just doesn't happen. And you just create it. You create your reality.
There's a great book by Richard Bach called Illusions, the guy who did Jonathan Livingston Seagull. A book called Illusions, The Adventures of a Reluctant Messiah. And it's along the same lines as far as everyone is capable of doing anything they want to at any time.
Absolutely.
And it's very, very much similar to that idea.
Yeah, absolutely. You can accomplish anything. Yes, that's okay.
I have resources for that too. I mean, I do that every morning, and it's just intention, and everybody's talking about it now. Wayne Dyer,
Yep.
There's resources. Abraham Hicks, anybody know about Abraham?
I've heard the name.
www.abraham-hicks.com, that's all I'll say. But I mean, that's the range now
Yeah.
in those circles, you know, spirituality circles. And you can create.
Okay. Absolutely.
I mean, I just get up and I say, today, I intend to have a good day. I'm going to look good. I'm going to feel good. I'm going to get a lot of work done. And just let it go. And it happens.
It is true. I used to tell my son, I never allowed him to speak in absolutes. I've had a horrible day. Everything goes wrong. Those things we're not allowed to say. You can't speak in absolutes because that's not the way the day is. And if you do that, you don't notice the good things. You notice only everything wrong.
I've had fun with it by shifting from lane to lane in traffic. So whatever lane I'm in, it doesn't happen consistently, but it has happened enough. So whatever lane I'm in is going to be the slowest lane. I just played with it. Like, yeah, it's happened. Little Carl has slowed down these, 5,000 cars.
Don't do an 80 until you get behind them, and then 8235.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You can slow down time that way, too. I mean, I swear to God, it really feels like it. I'll be running late. I'll go,
please.
Slow down time.
Or how about,
I get to work at record time.
how about when,
happen?
how about when you're running late
Yeah.
and you hit every red light on the way?
Yeah, and I've had every times where I've gotten green
That's
lights.
your
How long does
excuse.
it?
That's your excuse why you're late. You
You
hit
hit
every
every
red
red
light.
light on the way.
Hello again. That was an excerpt from Penn State University. Carl Johnson and Andrew Graham speaking on string theory. Our next episode will have some more footage from Penn State. Again, I apologize for the audio quality, but do the best you can with what you have. And next time we'll be talking about demonology, the workshop which I gave. Now, Sandra, would you like to speak a little bit about our contact info?
Sure. As always, we'd like you to know that we at N.E.A.R, New England Anomalies Research, are available to research local alleged hauntings or assist those of you who may be experiencing unexplained phenomena in your home or place of business. We'd also like to hear from you if you have a show suggestion or if you would like to be a guest on Ghosts R N.E.A.R. So give us a shout at Ghosts R N.E.A.R at inbox.com. We'll believe you.
Very good. Carl, would you like to show our t-shirt?
Okay.
Logo designed by Tammy Melville.
Now, we're not
Chef.
selling these, we're just showing them. Get the tag in. There we go. Yes, this is Tammy Melville's design.
Show the back too.
I sure will. The back is pretty nice.
I think that's pretty neat.
We all wore those at our Penn State excursion, our whole group.
Yes, that's what we have behind us.
It was a great time. We had a great time. There are many well-known people there. Chris Fleming was there, dead famous.
Interesting workshops.
Yes, yes, yep. We had Patrick Burns was there, and of course Dave Schrader from Darkness Radio.
All in all, it
Ariel
was
and Guiley.
Yeah,
Very
a
good
lot of
time.
big names. And, Jason and Grant from Ghost Hunters
Of
were there
course.
as well. Yeah,
Ron Millione from Taps.
yeah, yeah.
Was Dr. Hans Holzer there?
Yes, yes.
He
I
did
didn't get
make-
to see him. He was there Friday. Yeah, he was there Friday for the debate. But we all had an excellent time.
Yes.
Lorraine Warren, did we mention her?
Lorraine Warren was there. Yeah, she did a great presentation on Sunday evening, and we're glad we got to see her. An old friend of ours. And there was, of course, the smooch at the dinner table, which is kind of an inside story.
And you don't have time to tell it now.
Well, we'll
do you?
tell that on the next episode. We'll go more into the kissing part.
Yes.
Of
And
the
maybe we'll do a
conference.
segment on string theory that you can actually hear all of what we're saying.
Yes, yeah.
Eventually.
Was fascinating. Was
We're not
fascinating.
blocked by the backs of heads.
Well, that's our show for now. I want to say thank you for watching. Be safe. God bless.
Thank you.